Richie, you're all very, very welcome. It is Sunday, the 24th of August, 2025. So I want to start this week by addressing some people who have sort of attacked me, but they've clipped my wings. Basically, they are commenting that you're a comedian. Why don't you keep going? Why do you keep on going on about Gaza? Why don't you just stick to comedy? Indeed, some have decided to opt out of my Patreon channel because seemingly they think that as a comic, I should stick to comedy. That's, well. To those who have stayed, an even bigger thanks, and maybe those who may join, thank you too. It's a free world, and I'm not going to have a go at them people or complain. Indeed, to some extent, I understand. People need distraction, especially in the world in which we're living in today, and comics are supposed to offer that. But this is the crux of it for me. I am a human being ahead of being a comedian. For me to ignore the horror in Gaza would be akin to being an entertainer in the 1940s who just decided to ignore the Holocaust. Can't do it. Refuse to do it. And I honestly believe in 10 or 20 years, if that lunatic Trump, of course, hasn't blown us all up, the world will look back and ask, how did anyone with any sense of humanity choose to ignore the suffering of the Palestinian people? So I will continue to do my comedy. Comedy's going to be in here, people. But I will not stop calling out the criminal thugs perpetrating a genocide of over 2 million innocent men, women and children in Gaza and the West Bank. And if you can't or don't want to be exposed to that, then there are many other comedians out there who are just happy enough to operate in a bubble of ignorance regarding Gaza. And I'm not alone. A lot of people get it. A lot of people across the media are getting this in the arts and all the rest of it. A much more famous man than me, a man called Missan Harmiman, a famous filmmaker and photographer. He had this to say on the topic.
Did anyone ever tell you not to talk so much about Palestine?
Is a Pope Catholic? Come on, man. Absolutely everyone that works in the machinery of entertainment, even if they don't tell you, they wish you didn't. And I want to also be proof that you can thrive as a filmmaker, as a photographer, as a storyteller, whilst not losing your soul, because what's it worth? You know, I think of Khaled, what's it worth? Life is fleeting. One day he'll be an old man. What's he going to be remembered for? You know, celebrities are one thing, but there are celebrities that are ambassadors to children's charities. Just so I'm very clear. The charities do one thing, protect children when they're in danger. I am an ambassador of one, Save the Children. The two big ones are Save the Children and UNICEF. One I will name is David Beckham, huge ambassador for UNICEF. And if he hears this, David, I beg you, this isn't about rage or finger pointing. I beg you, you have children, you have raised children, you've just been knighted, you have unspeakable wealth. Be the voice for the children of Gaza. This is the biggest tragedy of the human condition in our lifetime. And for those of us that choose to represent the protection of children and choose to remain silent, I beg you, tomorrow, do something about it. And if you need help in articulating it, I will do everything in my power to give you the data points, to give you the cadence and language that's gentle and doesn't offend those you are afraid of, but helps humanize these babies.
I honestly believe that history will judge harshly those in entertainment who didn't speak out. And history's critical judgment will not be limited just to the world of entertainment, but also that of journalism. Now, for months, I've been banging on about the role played by Western media in not reporting what is happening in Gaza. This is what Holocaust survivor Stephen Kapos had to say.
The Israeli government has said it doesn't intend to permanently occupy or govern Gaza. Benjamin Netanyahu's office has clarified their aim is to establish security control to neutralise Hamas's military capabilities and ensure Gaza doesn't serve as a base for future attacks. But listen, you feel strongly about this. This is something that you want to speak out about, but you do have concerns, don't you, that internationally not enough attention is being paid to what's going on, or not enough being said about it.
That's true, and particularly, I think the whole of West is guilty in a way in not opposing this decisively and strongly enough. Particularly the mass media that has been, if you like, lying by omission in not.
By not giving enough coverage?
Yes, by not being enough coverage, and by the way they give coverage also at times. For example, taking Israeli statement unchallenged as sometimes as truthful. Where is their record?
With a perfect example of this during the week, when on the same day that the UN announced they were declaring famine in Gaza, what did ITV News lead its bulletin with?
This is the ITV Evening News with Lucrezia Miloini.
Good evening. The Premier League footballer Antoine Semenyo says supporters who racially abuse players need to face much tougher punishments.
Don't get me wrong, racism should rightly be denounced and called out wherever it happens. But are you seriously saying that a story about a footballer being called racist names is more important than a man-made famine? Surely the Gazan famine will be the next item on the news.
Well, in America, the FBI has been carrying out searches at the home of Donald Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton.
Fair enough. The dictatorial ambitions of Donald Trump are newsworthy. But the recognition of the UN of a famine in Gaza to be pushed into third spot on that night's news says all we need to know about the lack of impartiality in our mainstream media.
The disastrous conditions in Gaza City have today seen a famine declared there for the first time.
Like many others, I refuse to let that bias continue, especially in the week that Tom Fletcher, the United Nations Under-Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs and Emergency Relief, well, he recognised in no uncertain terms that Israel had indeed pushed Gaza into famine.
It is a famine. The Gaza famine. It is a famine that we could have prevented if we had been allowed. Yet food stacks up at borders because of systematic obstruction by Israel. It is a famine within a few hundred meters of food in a fertile land. It is a famine that hits the most vulnerable first, each with a name, each with a story, that strips people of dignity before it strips them of life, that forces a parent to choose which child to feed, that forces people to risk their lives to seek food. It is a famine that we repeatedly warned of, but that the international media has not been allowed in to cover, to bear witness. It is a famine in 2025, a 21st century famine, watched over by drones and the most advanced military technology in history. It is a famine openly promoted by some Israeli leaders as a weapon of war. It is a famine on all of our watch. Everyone owns this. The Gaza famine is the world's famine.
Indeed, you don't have to search long or hard to find proof of his accusation that Israeli leaders promote famine as a weapon of war. This is what Bezalel Smotrich, the Israeli finance minister, admitted during a speech last week.
במסגרת המלחמה צה"ל מניע אוכלוסייה מאזורי הלחימה ולא משאיר אבן על אבן. אני אומר לכם, פשוט תסתכלו על הסרטונים של מה שקורה ברצועת עזה. האוכלוסייה תגיע לדרום הרצועה, ומשם בעזרת השם למדינות שלישיות. במסגרת תוכנית הנשיא טראמפ זה שינוי של מהלך ההיסטוריה, לא פחות. מינימום נדרש שיגיע לאוכלוסייה, פשוט כדי שהעולם לא יעצור אותנו ויאשים אותנו בפשעי מלחמה. כשהם מבקשים מאיתנו לעזור להם, לעזור לנו ולהזים את שקרי ההרעבה, אנחנו צריכים לעשות את זה. מה שייכנס בימים הקרובים זה מעט שבמעט. כמה מאפיות שמחלקות פיתות לאנשים ומטבחים ציבוריים שנותנות מנה יומית של אוכל מבושל. אזרחים בעזה יקבלו פיתה וצלחת אוכל וזהו. זה בדיוק מה שאנחנו רואים בסרטונים, אנשים עומדים בתור ומחכים שכן ימזגו להם לצלחת, איזה צלחת מרק. האם הייתי רוצה להימנע בכלל מהצורך להכניס גרגר לרצועת עזה? גם לא לאזרחים? יכול להיות. אני מבין מאוד את הכעס, אני מבין מאוד את כאבי הבטן שכולנו כאזרחים מרגישים. האמת היא שעד שאחרון החטופים חוזר, גם מים אנחנו לא צריכים לתת לרצועת עזה.
That should leave him liable to charges of war crimes. Indeed, having stopped food from getting into Gaza, the next step in the Israeli genocidal campaign is the denial of water to that civilian population.
There is no natural drinking water in Gaza. It must be brought in, or salt water must be treated to allow life to survive. 9 treatment units that could provide clean water have been stuck at the border for months. We asked to bring treatment units into Gaza, but the Israeli authorities refuse. Gaza's water plants need fuel to power generators to provide electricity. Humanitarian organizations ask to bring sufficient fuel into Gaza, but the Israeli authorities refuse. Water plants need all sorts of items to keep running. We ask to bring in spare parts and chemicals to provide more clean water, but the Israeli authorities refuse. Israeli authorities, let people have water. Let people live. Israel, stop your genocide.